In today's video, we're going to be discussing the spring practices and also mini camp. So the first thing that I want to talk about is the passing attack because last season I thought it was extremely underwhelming outside of Vlad McConkey. There's no question that Quentin Johnson had a career year for touchdowns. Will Disley had a career year for receiving yards. But there just wasn't a lot of consistency and drops were a huge problem. And the Chargers couldn't run the ball. Sure, J.K. Dobbins had a pretty good season, but he also missed some games, and the interior wasn't able to hold their blocks. And because the Chargers couldn't run the ball, they became one dimensional. And to that point, you're talking about making Justin Herbert have to make a ridiculous play to even have a chance out there. And that's why the Chargers didn't play well against the top teams. I mean, how many good teams did the Chargers beat last year? And I'm not obviously hating on them because I like the Chargers, like I'm a Charger fan. But at the same time, we've got to be a little bit realistic with ourselves and ask how many big wins did the Chargers have last season? They beat the Broncos twice. The Bengals was a good win, even though they didn't make the playoffs. But that was kind of it. And if you can't run the ball, you're not going to be able to beat those top dogs. 44 rushing yards from J.K. Dobbins against the Steelers. Against the Chiefs, 32 yards rushing from J.K. Dobbins. You go and you look at the Ravens, 40 yards rushing from J.K. Dobbins. So it's easy to see why the Chargers did not make a lot of noise and they got knocked out on the wild card. So why is that going to change? It's pretty simple. You go and you look at the depth chart. Najee Harris is brought in free agency. Amarian Hampton is a first-round pick. You've got two absolute studs out of the backfield to hand the ball off to. In the interior, a huge upgrade is Mekhi Becton. You move Zion Johnson to center. You put, of course, Bradley Bozeman, who was playing center last season at left guard. You bring in Andre James for depth at the center position, who's a former Raider. Now, all of a sudden, you're a lot more explosive, and even more encouraging for the Chargers is they have a vertical threat in the passing game, and his name, of course, is going to be Arande Gadsden. You also got Trey Harris, who you believe is going to have a big rookie season. Darius Davis is a speed threat. So I like this. Even Brandon Rice, I think he's got a little bit of sneaky potential. This is a good Chargers team. Mike Williams is that 50-50 go ball, get it type of guy. The offense looks significantly better. Like, to me, this is a Super Bowl level offense, and the defense is already good. Of course, gave up the fewest scores in football last season. The Chargers are going to be legit this upcoming season. The only thing I will say is, do they have enough defensively in the sense of the interior? Because a couple of big time names did leave in free agency that we just can't ignore. Like Poona Ford broke out at the beginning of the season and was a big time player for the Chargers team. And then to go with him as well, the Chargers, they lost another guy in Morgan Fox. So now you go out and you bring in Naquan Jones and you bring in a Sean Hand. You draft in the third round Jamar Caldwell. I'm not sure if the defensive interior is going to be good enough, but at the same time, I didn't think it would be last season, and some guys stepped up. And if anybody's going to find some gems, it's going to be the Chargers and Hortiz and in Harbaugh. So I shouldn't be really too concerned with that. And then the secondary, Christian Fulton's no longer here, but Dante Jackson and Benjamin St. Juice. I think I prefer Jackson and Juice, if I'm being honest. So it's kind of, you lose one guy, but you bring in two. And then the receiver position, Josh Palmer is no longer here. I mean, Palmer was solid, but I've kind of just forgotten about him to this point with how many weapons the Chargers got that I like a lot and that I've seen inside of course, the spring practices and then in minicamp. Yeah, Mekhi Becton's going to be awesome. You look at a guy like an Elijah Molden last season who was brought in late and absolutely had a great season because of his ability to play safety. Derwin was able to be towards the line of scrimmage, which is where he's at his best, so that was great. We're looking at Los Angeles having the most depth they've had in a very long time, especially since I've been covering them, which dates back to like 2021. Like, this is without question, at least in the Herbert era, this is the best team they've had. And it already didn't work out back in 2022. The team tried to bring in big time names. Like, remember J.C. Jackson? They also brought in Sebastian Joseph Day. Just a lot of these big time names didn't exactly pan out. And I'd rather them just throw a dart and look for the bullseye, man. And, even if the probability isn't that high in some of these like lesser known name guys, it's just how you want to build a football team. Is you want to have multiple starters at different positions versus just a flat out star-studded roster. I mean, that can't work for you. Like, the Eagles got a lot of talent, but they've also developed a lot of their guys as well. And that's what I want to see the Chargers do. And hopefully they can retain them, because just losing Morgan Fox and, of course, losing just Puna 4, like losing these guys in free agency, it kind of hurts, man, because the Chargers had them in such good roles, and then just like as soon as they were here, they were gone. So hopefully this time around they can keep them. But outside of that, I just look at the Chargers, and I've been watching and covering this team for so long, and they made the playoffs. They blew that huge lead against the Jags, and then this past season they came up short against the Texans. It just feels like it's a matter of time before things start to click. But I need to see more out of the Chargers in the regular season. They need those statement type of wins, and that's why Week 1 is going to be so crucial because it's against the Chiefs. It is in Brazil, which I'm not the biggest fan of. I mean, like it's cool that they're expanding the game, but it's just unfair for these teams to have to travel, especially because like Los Angeles is a lot farther from Brazil than like Kansas is, right? Like Kansas City. I always confuse Kansas and Kansas City. They're one's in Missouri. I don't know. I'm dumb, but in all seriousness, the Chargers, both sides of the ball look a lot better. I think defense, they're more balanced. I don't know if the Chargers will be better than they were last year, but I do think they have a lot more depth. We'll see how far that goes. Last season, there was a lot of depth. Some of the rookies were able to step up and make plays, and we just talked about, of course, Fox and Ford. But the offense, to me, was the problem last year. I think we can kind of all agree on that. The Chargers offense didn't give them enough to be considered a great team versus a good team. And now it seems like they have that. And Justin Herbert, I thought, played the best football of his young career last season, and he's already broken multiple records. But I thought last season he was at his best because he wasn't turning the ball over and he was extremely accurate. But now, with how much talent around him, he's going to be asked to compete for a Super Bowl. Like, there's no question about it. In the AFC, even though the Chiefs have been controlling it, it seems like the Chiefs are, I'm not going to say coming to an end because they're still going to make the playoffs and be really good and be a threat. But this is like the first time where I legitimately look at the Chargers and think that they've got a really good chance, like a realistic chance to beat the Chiefs. And both times the Chargers played the Chiefs last season were close. Like you go and you look at the first game of that one, it was a 10-point game. The Chargers, didn't they lead 10 to nothing in that game? I want to say it was a long time ago. It was September 29th. It's almost a year ago. And then the second game was a 3-point game. It was, yeah, I mean, it's the same thing. It was two one-score games. They usually are when the Chargers and Chiefs play. And the good news for the Chargers is that Travis Kelce continues to get older and older, and he's pretty close to retiring. And he's the one guy that the Chargers haven't been able to stop. We did see as well the rookie out of University of Texas. I'm blanking on his name. I don't know. He's a cheap player, so Charger fans don't hold it against me. Oh, was it not Rasheed Rice? Bro, what? I'm sorry. I'm in baseball mode right now, but you guys get what I'm saying. The speedster at UT, he had that deep touchdown catch on a beautiful thrown ball by Mahomes. He's going to be a problem. But overall, like outside of that, there's really not much that's going to beat the Chargers. And the defense held them to, you do 19 plus 17. I mean, what, 26? Like, they held them to 26 points through two games. I mean, they'll be just fine.